Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to the second week of the Due Process League. Today, we're starting off with a very exciting game between DFC and Fluff. The first game of the weekend right now. We do have another game going on currently, but we cannot stream it because these games are happening at the exact same time. So we just kind of had to pick one, and this is what we're going to be going with for today. And I think this is going to be a very exciting game for us to watch today. We know DFC is a force to be reckoned with, and we know the exact same thing for Fluff. They're both very strong teams, and I think today is going to be a big showing of how powerful they both can be. Addax, if you want to take it from here and maybe talk a little bit more about these teams.
Yeah, I definitely would have to agree. These teams are both going to be powerhouses tonight. As we saw last week, Fluff beat out SPG in 10-0 fashion, and also DFC ended up beating LCG in a 10-3. Not to mention DFC was also the Alpha Season winners for Due Process League. So we'll see how these two teams clash. Their playstyles seem very different from what I've seen them go into. And from that, it's just going into what the teams are like. You see Marbles is IGL, shot calling for Fluff, and Nunk is the shot call in IGL for DFC. And we'll see what their minds put to the test here.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this game, honestly. I'm really excited to see what kind of plans they come up with here.
You know what I'm really excited for? I'm really excited for the maps, because with the new hotfix that just came out today, there are 20 new maps. So we're going to see straight out of the bag what these teams can come up with, and that's going to be revolutionary for other teams. We're also going to see new hit reg detection for players who may not have the best ping, which I don't think that'll be too much of a problem here. But we're also going to see something with windows. And in C-Store, we'll also see freezer shelves. You can now shoot those out. So we'll see if either of these teams, DFC and Fluff, take advantage of that. Maybe create some new angles for themselves. We're not sure, but we'll find out tonight.
Yeah, and I'm thinking. Who do you think is gonna pull out the win here? If you had a guess.
As of right now, Fluff is looking really strong, but DFC are the reigning champions. So if I had to go with somebody statistically, I'd probably say Fluff. But in terms of who I want to see personally, I'm gonna have to go with DFC.
Yeah, I think you got it right there. I mean, Fluff, they've proven themselves to be a force to be reckoned with. They've got the aim, they've got the kills, and they've got the plans. And I think the same can be said for DFC. So
definitely,
we'll see what we see.
Definitely on the statistics side, we have Fluff with a 3.3 KD ratio over the team, and we'll see how they keep that up. Because having a 3.3 across your entire team, that is not light work.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter too much, though. We'll see them get into the games, and we'll see what strategies they come up with.
Yeah, we're now moving into the first round of the match here. Let's see what map we start off with here. Does look like we'll be starting off with a factory map. A very long one, a very wide one.
An interesting layout. I'd like for you to notice that there's now a new callout, it seems, called No Man's Land, which used to be called Assembly. So in this layout, we're going to see a lot of south pressure, it seems. DFC looking for a storage push, maybe, to play an eco round towards their explosives. We'll see how that ends up on their take, as Toxic is already going to be barbed. We'll see if Fluff puts a player in office, which is most likely, because there's not much to do on the north or the west sides of the map. All the breaches are going to be south and west. So DFC, it looks like they're going to go straight through a barbed wire that Fluff is ready to set up, and it might be a power play at turns. 2 bridges in Toxic, and it looks like they're going to try to cut No Man's Land in half and split the Fluff team in half. Fluff looks like they're counter-stratting this. They're trying to have players on the bomb doors, and we'll see how it turns out. Definitely an interesting layout to start it off. There's going to be somebody inside that No Man's Land, but we'll see how they counter this play.
Yeah, this is looking to be a very action-packed round, I think. I mean, the attackers are going to have to go through a lot of enemies to get to where they need to go. If they're starting with this green door, and they're just starting right off. They're just sprinting right through the past the docks here, and I think what we'll see here is we'll see Sox get right onto that green door and just put some pressure on DFC right off the bat, and that'll give DFC some or not DFC. Fluff, my bad. Fluff some time to respond, but DFC now kicking open the door. Youngster getting on the window to check the office. Sox now actually getting pushed back, not putting too much pressure on them. DFC just moving straight into the factory office. Effects just moving in. Shad getting a kill on Billboard on office. Sox getting pushed out a little bit of office, but tries to go for the shotgun kill. Gets picked off. Youngster and Yangjo and Sva all in the power room in Toxic. Marbles hiding underneath the office right now, not getting spotted. The Vex just running right by Marbles. Marbles might be able to get a pick here. Does look like a fight going on between Defex and Marbles. Marbles is barely squeezing out of that area, not getting shot. And eventually goes down. And now it's up to Frosty and Vane. Vane goes down with the mop, and now it's a 1v5. Frosty holding it off in the office by himself. Getting shot through the window, and he goes down. DFC just steamrolling through the entire factory and just taking the round.
That was really interesting how they pushed. You can see Sox tried to fall off there, but it seems he was a little bit too late. It seems Defex was already pushing him, and there was just nothing he could do since he didn't have a teammate to back him up. Obviously, Frosty and Vane getting cleaned up at the end was a bit rough on them, because those angles, even though they did have a lot of space to work with, they just couldn't peek much. As you can see, they only had the window and the green door up on the north side by that catwalk. And when you only have 2 peek spots and there's 5 players on the enemy team, there's really nothing else to do. You just have to peek those. You have to try to win those firefights. And it looks like Fluff just couldn't do that. DFC taking the first round because it seems they just followed their strategy. They knew how to adapt to this new map.
Yeah, they just kind of pushed through and took control of the office very, very quickly, and we're just ready to take it.
Yeah, if you'll notice, the truck spawn is actually considerably closer, so it just gives DFC a lot more time to work with their explosives and such, which in the end, Fluff, they're really going to have to counterplay that with that utility. As I've heard before, Fluff has really good utility usage, but it seems that DFC, they just know what angles to hold, because it seems they're trying to take angles that they know Fluff is going to be holding. When they're pushing, they're thinking, hey, Fluff might be holding this because this is what we would hold probably on this map. And they're taking that, and it seems they're using it to their advantage. In this round, we might see a power play, actually. It looks like they've circled, or sorry, excuse me, a button play. They're not going to use the wall charge here, possibly saving that for C-Store. And it is going to be a vault map. Notice how the breaches are very spread out on this map. There is one right north of the site. They could have breached that and go for button there. But it seems they're going to be saving their explosives again. And Fluff is just interested in the red doors. They're barbing up both red doors and holding hard angles, as you can see in lockers they've drawn there. And it seems they are going to have one player specifically for the button. No crossfire or anything like that. And you can tell Fluff is definitely worried about that lockers angled, which I believe they should be. DFC has made a plan for this.
Yeah, they've got barbed wire set up on the kitchen and club doors. So, well, we might see DFC kind of struggle with this, but they're just going to go straight for that button. And honestly, Fluff doesn't seem to be very worried about the button getting pressed at all, because they're just kind of sitting around the door and making sure they can't get in the first place. And Shad, Swa, and Yangjo seem to be the ones getting into the office. Defex and Youngster watching their flank. Nades going in to clear it out, but nothing's in there. They actually get hit by one of their own nades on accident, but it's fine. They're able to hit the button, and that button goes off, and the door is going open. And Yangjo now shotgunning open the door. Billboard firing some shots over to the attackers in office, but not getting too much damage. Shad and Billboard now taking a lot of shots. So is Marbles, shooting a lot of shots at Shad. Youngster using the mop that they grabbed from the defenders last round against them, trying to find some shots here, but not really much to be found yet. Frosty moving in with the knack, just spraying down Spa instantly, holding back DFC very, very quickly. Once again, holding off Youngster with the knack, doing a lot of damage with this knack. Frosty somehow running away, living. And Sox is still in the vault, so if they push in past the vault, Sox might be able to shotgun them. Frosty trying to do some more damage, but it's not enough. Marbles now spraying through the walls to try to get a kill, but missing a couple. Defect's trying to get him on the door. If he opens this door, then Marbles will shoot. And there goes the shots. Marbles spraying into Youngster. Defects goes down by Yangjo on an accidental team kill. Billboard now spraying Yangjo down, and now Shad is the last one alive. 1 versus 3 against the defenders. Shad now moving through the office, trying to get this button up. There we go. The button now finally going up. I don't think they pressed it last time on accident. And now Shad choosing to go through the office here. A little bit safer of a position, honestly. Not much contesting up here, but Billboard is up here behind the stage, so Shad might get shot here. There we go. Gets super shorted by a Billboard. And the DFC just crumbles there on their attack on the vault.
That was a round that Fluff definitely needed. They needed to turn the momentum in their favor. They even got an AK back. And if you'll notice, Frosty was really just stalling for his teammates. Now, there were some wall bangs that I believe DFC could have taken advantage of, definitely in that lockers area when they were trying to push the button as well, because we saw Fluff try to rotate north and then they just cut that off. They were like, no, we're not going to push this. We'll just let them have the button. And it turns out DFC just didn't press the button, which caused them to push and have miscommunication, leading to those nat kills that we saw from Frosty, which really helped stall the round out. Now, I think DFC could have won that, but Fluff definitely know who they're up against now. DFC has the strategies, but it seems they're saving too much. They should be trying to put a bit more of an investment into these rounds because they've just been picking up guns and they've been going for green doors. We haven't seen any breaches yet, actually, and it's the 3rd round. So we'll see the plans that both these teams have. We are on C-Store with Storefront on a south side, actually. It looks like there's going to be 2 breaches. A wall on the east side and a door charge on the left. It looks like they're going to try to get a peek hole to watch the rotates while the wall charge is to just get to the bomb. We're going to see worries from Fluff about storage specifically. They know it's not going to be a power play because that was already trying to happen on Factory. We'll see what they go for though, as both charges are going to be used here, but no 3rd charge, no 2nd door charge, no distraction. Fluff definitely good with their utility. They're going to realize what's happening, and I feel like they're just going to shred all of their utility into one location, possibly giving DFC the opportunity to go for a flank and office possibly, but based off Fluff's drawings and their battle tactic, it seems they're going to have a player able to rotate from arcade, storage, office, in that general area. Not many windows here, just one on office, and it looks like the barbs are just going to go down immediately. We're going to see 1 in freezer, 1 in arcade, actually rotating the storage as previously mentioned, and we'll see how it turns out. An interesting barbed wire right in the middle of storage.
Yeah, I think they were just really worried about that storage push, but DFC is just going straight for the storefront here, and I'm honestly actually kind of disappointed, if not surprised, that they didn't use this 3rd charge to do anything, but they're just going to be straight door charging storefront right there. Now the wall's going off. Billboard is ready here with a Molotov and a shotgun. He's sitting inside the smoke for any of the DFC members to try to rush into the Molotov, but it's not happening. Vex trying to look at this door charge hole to see if he can spawn anything, but nothing yet. Spawn now pushing in full speed with Shad. I think, oh, that's what they used the charge for. They used it on this green door and they blew up Billboard with it. Shad also goes down to it though. And now Sval trying to take a flank through the map here. Sox and Marbles holding arcade. Sval does get a kill through the freezer doors onto Vane in storefront. And Defects tries to push through arcade but goes down very quickly to Sox. Tiger's putting a lot of pressure on these defenders by starting to defuse very, very quickly. Sval just holding this bomb. Frosty now trying to push out, take out Sval, but goes down, and now it's up to Marbles with the auto shot, and he might not be able to do anything about it. I mean, he's got to run through all of this, and Yeah, there we go. Marble's not having enough time to rotate, and the round goes to DFC on a very, very strong attack round.
I want to make a note on that wall charge. While it could have just been a joke, it was actually genuinely smart if they wanted to intentionally do that, because consider C-Store, it's a very short range map. You can see Fluff brought auto shotties, they brought knacks, they brought guns that are only for door play. Well, not only for door play, but work the best with door play. And that wall charge completely destroyed the right side of the map towards the east side, which just let them get to the bomb, which let DFC get to the bomb. Now, Marbles with the auto shot, he couldn't really do that much. He was just separated from his team. He didn't know the rotates. And it seems that with the push in on that wall charge and door charge, DFC just split Fluff in half. They couldn't do anything about it because their team just couldn't get back together to take firefights where it was 2v1, or they had the health advantage, or they had close range shotgun advantage. But now we're going to see Fluff on attack, and we'll see what they do to counter DFC's attack plays.
Yeah, we saw from DFC that they were going for a lot of ecos. To be fair, on the Kill House map, there wasn't really much of a need for a charge.
Yeah, definitely. We saw on the Kill House map that there could have been a charge if they pushed just north side, but then they would have also had to use a door charge, which is way too much of an investment in the second round, I believe. So we'll see what kind of breach Fluff does here. Maybe something similar. It looks like they do want to take over Toxic, and except it seems they're giving up East Office. They have marked it for a player there possibly, but they have no interest in storage. It might be a fan play, and we'll see what use those two bridges are to them, because power is on one side, but that's no man's land version 2 basically. They have to cross that bridge or take damage from Toxic, and considering how big Toxic is, they're not going to be able to do that, especially with a window there on East Office.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this attack here because they've got this plan laid out. They want to go for fan and the green door perhaps, but that seems to be what DFC has done as well. And I'm thinking that it's probably going to work for Fluff as well because I mean, actually, there's a lot of office hold here. I mean, if DFC puts a lot of pressure on this office, it might not be able to work that well. But Billboard's not really going to find anything on the fan unless, oh, he might be able to see a little bit, not much. But there we go. Some doors getting kicked in. Room got cleared, and now Fluff's moving into the office. Only Vayne, though. There's 3v1 if Vayne goes in by himself. Nade goes off. Nothing getting caught. Shad kind of flashed in the office. Sox and Vayne and Frosty all moving in. Yangjo and Defex holding off the office by themselves. A lot of shots going off. Frosty trying to clear out this corner. Defex is going down, not enough to hold off the 3 attackers, and now Youngster and Sval in the back of the factory now trying to hold off the Fluff attackers that are admittedly very low on health. I mean, if Sval can get a couple of shots off onto them, it can really lower their health, and Young really only has to pistol them to really do any damage or to kill them. And Vayne pushing up very close to Sval, getting into the bomb room and starting to defuse, putting a little pressure on Sval. But Vayne is very low on health. So, oh, that molly does miss, keeping the defenders out of the bomb room, not being able to hold off. I mean, Young can't do anything here. He just gets shot down by Marbles, and that's that. That round ended very, very poorly for DFC.
Notice how DFC didn't take inspiration from Fluff? They were playing a lot of close range there, but if you notice, they had F1s. They didn't have knacks. They didn't have shotguns. They didn't have any sort of close range guns, and they were trying to hold close range with them. And when you have a semi-auto compared to something like an AP-25 at close range, that's really not going to happen unless you hit those really hard headshots, especially when there's flashes coming in. Now, DFC, they had good positioning, but their guns just weren't on par with the strategy they were doing. We saw Shad, Yang, and Defex all taken out in that office, and from there it was just a steamroll for Fluff. They had man advantage, so they just took the 2v1 fights from North Toxic Door from office and pushed those defenders back to a point where they couldn't hold bomb anymore. I think if the defenders on DFC's side was a bit closer to the bomb and just ignored the west side of the map, they would have definitely had it, because there's nothing on the west side of the map except an office. There's nothing for them there. There's nothing that benefits them from being there except for maybe a sniper. But on to Kill House, we're going to see a similar setup from DFC that we saw from Fluffs. A barbed wire on that north club and one on lockers to kitchen door. Maybe a knack player will be there. We'll see. Inspiration may be taken from one team to another, because it's really just creating strategies right off the bat from here. Like I said, these are all brand new maps. Nobody has seen these until today. So it looks like Fluff is going to go for a similar power play, except they are going to be breaching that north door. Keep note of that. If they breach that north door, they could possibly split DFC in half and do what DFC did to them on Factory. Just split them in half and fight them one-on-one with man advantage and health advantage, which would just easily give them the round, unless DFC can hold hard angles and win their gunfights. But we'll see how it turns out. There's going to be a player in Vault, actually, similar to how Fluff executed it. And it looks like Fluff is going to be going for the north side. They're going to try to split off the teams here.
Yeah, they're going for a very, very similar plan as they saw on Fluff's defense. I mean, they're just sticking around this bomb area and just making sure to keep this area under control. There's no red doors into here, so there's not really a threat of them getting shot from behind, so they can just stack this area down here and not worry about the attackers. But speaking of the attackers, they're now setting up on this red door, getting ready to blow it open once these guys clear the green garage. Sox seem to be setting up a smoke here to block off this doorway, which is very, very smart plan. Making sure to cut off some sightlines here. There we go. Smoke goes off, now blocking off that green door, and now Frosty, Vane, actually the entirety of Fluff right now moving in to the garage and trying to take control of the office pretty soon to get this door open. Some flashes going in, no frags this time, as we saw from DFC, and Billboard hits the button. Does it go open this time? It does not. It's not open just yet. I think they're trying to hold off for now. Billboard and Vane now setting up on this door. Shad's going to be the one to hold off his door, actually. There we go. The explosion goes off. I'm not entirely sure what purpose it served, but, you know, it's an intimidation tactic, from what I can tell. And Shad does seem a little intimidated, scooting around a lot. Flash is going in. Shad does get flashed very hard. Now, from behind the bar, spraying the knack, trying to get some shots off, now reloading, trying to get some more picks off, but it's not gonna take anyone. Yangjo and Shad both go down. Sox now getting into the kitchen door on the west side, while his entire team takes control of this backstage defense, not able to do much again to defend against this, and just running around on stage. Spa takes out Sox with the auto shotty. Spa now trying to take out Billboard with the auto shotty, does get a kill, and now Vane with the mop trying to get a kill on the west side here on Spa, but Spa's just running around this auto shotty, trying to take out two more attackers, but it's not gonna happen, and Frosty does take out Spa's killing spree. And looks like Fluff is going to take the defuse here.
Yeah, it seems DFC just kind of panicked there, to be honest. It's an intimidation factor, I guess, with that north door being blown open. I'm pretty sure Shad actually had a shotgun secondary, and he didn't even bother to pull that out when there were two players standing in front of him on that desk. He really could have made work there and just completely shut down the push, but I think he just panicked with that reload. He thought the fire rate would have been better than that just buckshot to the face. But that auto shotty play almost saved them there. Spa getting Billboard and marbles, that was quite scary, I would say, for Fluff, especially with Vane missing a shot on the mop onto him. That could have been detrimental. That really could have hurt them, especially if they lost even more guns. So in the end, Fluff getting the defuse, they're now going to be ahead. And it seems they've adapted to their opponents enough. DFC's got to pick up the pace, or they aren't going to be anywhere near Fluff.
Yeah, we'll see if Fluff can keep up the trend here of winning these rounds. They are going for the exact same plan, it seems.
It does seem like it.
On the storefront. I guess they're just trying to mimic, but just they're trying to prove that they're going to do it better.
I would guess so. It looks like this time they're actually going to have a bit more of dedication to arcade. They may have a player on that watching it, maybe even two. But we'll see how the wall charge gets used, actually, because it seems there is going to be a player in Tellers, possibly from DFC. I'm not sure, but it looks like the teller hole could actually be facing the bomb, which could be very bad for Fluff's side. Now, the bomb defuse is on the east side, but still, that bullet hole can definitely shut down maybe even the door charge and let players rotate from arcade to counter that bomb defuse. But in the end, Fluff just needs to get pressure on the bomb as soon as possible to try to force DFC to rotate into the site where they can just clean them up until the end of the round. We are going to see more barbed wires on this map than we saw last time, especially in storefront and bathroom. DFC is worried about Fluff mimicking, and they should definitely be right on that. Barbed does seem to be going to bathroom, and there's going to be one right in front of tellers in the bomb. There's no other way to go unless they use a grenade to blow up that barbed wire. Excuse me. Now, in this run around, actually, we'll see Youngster in storage, and it doesn't really matter in the end because these walls are going to get blown up either way.
Getting one at the exact same time, different than what DFC did, actually. They did it one by one, but this time they're just going all out. Vayne does happen to actually get a pick onto Sval all the way back in Freezer, a shot all the way from the storefront all the way back into the Freezer. That's a very, very difficult shot to hit, but he does make it. Flash is going in now. The attacker's just funneling into the store, but Youngster all the way from storage shoots an angle all the way to the storefront window. Very, very hard shot to hit once again, and we're seeing these teams just putting their aim prowess into the mix here. Sox and Frosty now trying to push this tellers. They shotgun open the door and get defects. Molotov going out from Youngster, holding him back actually from being able to rotate. Shad now having to go through his own barbed wire. Taking out Marvels here. Frosty trying to get a kill on Shad. There we go. Shad kills him. Sox now getting pushed off of the defuse, and now Shad and Youngster are the last ones on the bomb. Youngster reloading and getting shots off on the billboard. They're both at similar health. They're both very, very low health, and they have this similar advantage here. So it's honestly up to whoever can react and whoever can aim the best here. I mean, Billboard is at a pretty big advantage here with being able to take anywhere he wants, and Youngster is the same. But they're both very, very low health, both playing very, very quietly, very slowly, not wanting to make too many crazy plays here. Billboard might get into tellers here to get a peek onto what's going on. They do see each other. They're trying to shoot each other through the windows, not really getting any shots. But Billboard does get Youngster while coming out of the tellers and finishes out the defuse that Sox started. And another round goes to Fluff.
No. Youngster actually did something really interesting this round. If you didn't notice, he used the recent patch notes to know what to do. If you notice what he did, he got his shot from storage all the way into storefront, and he immediately rotated to that freezer position. He blew out the glass on that freezer, and as soon as Shade pushed through his own barbed wire, they were regrouped and ready to take a 2v1 on the bomb. They definitely could have turned that round around, but in the end, Billboard just won the firefight. That BLK is just really strong on the attacker side. In the end, though, that barbed wire, while it may have been strategic, it didn't help them in the long run. Shad having to go through his own barbed wire, while he did get a kill on Marbles, that was just frustrating. That was him trying to push out. Yes, he got the kill. Yes, he helped give his team an advantage. But in the end, he just stalled. He stalled his own team by having that barbed wire there when Fluff wasn't even going for the bathroom. Which is kind of an interesting idea because the Mimic was there, but Fluff, as I've mentioned, used their utility so much better. As soon as Youngster got that shot off, smoke came out, and they were immediately cut off. The only way DFC would have won that round is if they all tried to rotate and group up on that right side of the map and push the bomb together. We are going to see Factory again now, though, and it looks like Fluff, they know this office position is very important for this map. That close range right there, those close quarters are a death wish if you don't have knacks, shotguns, APs, anything like that. We're not going to see any dock play, which is kind of disappointing, to be honest, because you could always push through a dock and take that west office to watch the entire map. It's beneficial to attackers, but not defenders. But we'll see what the plan is here, as it looks like DFC is going for the same exact plan, and Fluff is ready for this. Both teams have done the same strategies for the most part, and it looks like DFC might be trying to completely ignore Toxic. They might try to drop out the window and get the power, but nothing else is going to happen. It's just the same push, it seems like, except for maybe a smoke or two in a different place.
Yeah, it seems to just be iteration after iteration here, but we are seeing Sval putting a charge up on docks, actually. So we might see that come into play later. Oh, actually, Sval, yeah, was baiting out the sound here. Sval is actually rotating back. This could put a wrench in Fluff's defense plan. Sval just going to get behind him with the charge. But meanwhile, DFC, the rest of the four of them are now pushing in through the green door, exchanging some shots into the office, but not really much damage going on. Flash is going off. Billboard spraying the neck into the office. Now Flash is going off once again into the office, and Yang Shad and Defects now moving into the office. A lot of defenders in here. Marbles does go down to Defects, and now the attackers are going to use this momentum, hopefully, to flash in and get Billboard now. They look like they're sitting behind this barbed wire. This barbed wire is putting a big problem for them. Actually, they're throwing that smoke out and just immediately getting on to this office. Sox does put some damage, but Defects goes and takes some damage on Frosty. Sva gets a kill on Frosty's, and I meant to say, sorry. Defects and Shad now pushing onto the docks. Sva trying to keep an angle on office, but Vayne gets him with the mob. Billboard just clearing in Toxic, just clearing out the two attackers that were in there trying to take the power. Vayne and Billboard trying to hold this together. Billboard slapping that power on for his teammate now. Shad holding the outside of the defuse. There we go. And Vayne finishes it off with getting a kill on Shad. Billboard does end up getting the kill on whoever was defusing, and Vayne uses that to get the kill on Shad. And we're going to see that first match go to Fluff.
A really interesting last round strategy. We saw some different takes on it. Now, Spa actually deviated from the plan, and he blew open the number 2 dock, and he immediately got a line of sight that cut the team off. On these maps, it looks like splitting these teams in half is definitely gonna be a problem, because a lot of the time there's not a breach on a specific side of the map, and there's no point in being there. Like the new call out is, it's no man's land.
Yeah, that's a hard position to take as an attacker. I mean, a defender could be hiding anywhere, honestly, and there's a reason why it's called that. Yeah. All right. Give me a moment here. All right, just give us a quick moment. We're going to go to a quick break, grab a drink, maybe some food. We'll be back with another match of DFC versus Fluff, and we'll see what happens in the next few matches.
Take my eyes open to force reality. Why can't you just let me eat my weight in glee? I live inside my own world of make-believe. Kids screaming in their cradles, profanities. Some days I feel skinnier than all the other days. Sometimes I can't tell if my body belongs to me. I love everything. Fire spreading all around my room. My world's so bright, it's hard to breathe, but that's alright. Hush. Hold your breath and feel the tension. Devils hide behind redemption. Honesty is a one-way gate to hell. I wanna taste consumption. Breathe faster to waste oxygen. Hear the children sing aloud. It's music till the wick burns out. Be carefree lately, yeah. Just kicking up daisies. Got one too many quarters in my pockets. Count 'em like the four-leaf clovers in my locket. Untied laces, yeah. Just tripping on daydreams. Got dirty little lullabies playing on repeat. Might as well just ride around the nursery and count sheep. There's a lot of things on my mind. Stacking money like 365. There's a lot of things on my mind. Stacking money like 365. There's a lot of things on my mind. Stacking money like 365. There's a lot of things on my mind. Stacking money like 365.
Alrighty, well, welcome back, everyone. I hope you've gotten a drink because this is definitely going to be an entertaining game. We're back with DFC and Fluff. Last time, we saw a lot of interesting plans. I mean, there were a lot of very similar plans, and we saw both teams trying to maybe mimic each other a little bit on their plans, but maybe a little bit of iteration here and there. So I'm interested to see if that same trend happens again, or if we'll see maybe a little bit of change up in the plans. Addax, what do you think was going to happen here?
Definitely would have to agree with the common interest there. A lot of the plans were the same, but I want to see how it turns out. We are going to have all these new map layouts, and it looks like right off the bat, backstage, a power button in the middle of the map. That is going to be rough. Maybe a wall charge being used here by DFC, but it already looks like Fluff. They are dedicated to just holding Vault. They do not care about that power button at all. They know if they put all their force on Vault, they can't really do it. And we see on the map, Vault is also immune to the wall charges. So the only point of having a wall charge here is to get to that button. And it looks like DFC that is exactly what they're doing. But Fluff is already ready to counterplay this. They knew DFC went through the garage on the first map, and they're going to use that green door wall bang to take advantage of where DFC is pushing. If you take a look at the map on that mid-south side, you're going to see a straight line through there in garage. A wall bang could happen here, but it's going to take a lot of coordination. Maybe there's a player on that barbed wire on the south garage door. But a wall charge and not on C-Store. We'll see how it turns out, but maybe a door charge will get used on C-Store. We never know. It looks like button might not be the play here, but having to push straight through barbed wire just isn't going to be very effective. We're going to see one player from Fluff on the north side holding club, but it doesn't seem like DFC cares about that side of the map. The only thing they care about is that bomb. It's really objective based for them. They're trying to come up with a better plan. They're trying to out-strategize Fluff. And Fluff just, it seems they know what they're doing. They're bringing shotguns and knacks to these close-range engagements, and we'll see DFC push up an interesting right side take.
Starting off with an instant door charge here. Shad and Defects running straight into Molotov. Shad taking a lot of damage from that Molotov, kind of freaking out a little bit, running in place. But Marbles is hiding inside the smoke. Shad does not see him. Marbles not coming out of the smoke. Not seeing Shad there, but running right out of the way. Spa does get a kill onto Sox here. Marbles and Frosty are cornered together. Defects does go down, but Sva does get the kill on Marbles. Billboard now pushing out into Garage. A little bit in the open, but not really able to do much. Frost does get taken down by Shad finally. Billboard trying to get a flank out here on Shad and Yangjo, but not getting a kill. Vayne does get the kill, though. Yangjo gets the wallbang through the little cubicle onto Vayne, and that's all the defenders dead. I mean, that's a very, very quick breach right there from DFC, just taking quick control of that center office area and just holding off any of the rotators.
Yeah, that office was definitely a key choke point for Fluff to hold, and when you have that open of an area and that little cover, there's not much you can do with a shotgun. Yes, it's close range, but when you have room to back up, there's not much you can do there. We saw an aggressive push straight through a Molotov, something completely different to what Fluff was expecting. They know how to use their utility, they know how to stay on top of it, they know how to share that information, but it seems DFC is just trying to take an aggressive take and take Fluff by surprise. We saw it happen in the first map, but we may see Fluff shut that down again with the same counter aggression. Maybe even the same plan or a variation on it. And that's Killbox out of the way. An interesting layout, to say the least. We saw a button in the middle of the map, which just DFC did not care for. They just wanted the kills. They just wanted to get in and then get out as fast as possible. And that's exactly what we saw. We saw them push in on the closest red door to the van. We saw them use that door charge and go straight through a Molotov. No regrets, because that Molotov really doesn't deal enough health. In the end, attackers have more health, and they could just push through it and take the map. Now, our C-store layout, and it's a really interesting shape. If you'll take a look at storefront itself, it's somewhat of an H shape, allowing for 3 lanes. Fluff may take advantage of the utility here and try to smoke off 2 of those lanes, DFC may try to smoke off 2 of those lanes, and it does seem that's what they're doing, but Fluff might be trying to counterplay this. Notice how Tellers actually has a connection to Arcade and Freezer, basically making it a rotate that only defenders can use, especially with that locked metal door on Tellers. Unless a shotgun is brought on the side of DFC, they're not going to be able to cut off or rotate. They aren't going to bring a shotgun most likely anyways, because who would bring a shotgun in an open storefront like that? You see cover on the west side where I think possibly maybe an Igmar or an F1 could be played. Not much barb coming out this round though, just 1 in Arcade, which seems kind of counterintuitive to say the least. While there is a green door opening on storage, Fluff is just kind of screwing themselves over here because barbed wire is just going to stall their rotate. They are also seeming to be barbing that teller door. Maybe a fallback on that plan. But Freezer also being taken. It seems Fluff is really going to be spread out here, and a wall charge or even a door charge is definitely in play here for DFC.
Yeah, they're just going right ahead with the storefront breach, and there we go. We're seeing the wall charge going straight off, and Defect's gonna be the first one to push in while Shad gets a smoke and flash ready. It seems Defect's just instantly spraying down Socks. Marble's trying to hold off Defect's, getting the kill finally on Defects, but the rest of DFC is now pushing in together. Yangjo does get the kill on Marbles, and Billboard now pushing in with the auto shot, but not getting more than 1 kill. Youngster accidentally kills Sva off. Vayne now getting the flank on Shad and Youngster, and now wins the round for Fluff with an amazing flank.
That was impressive to say the least. Like I said, that rotate was only for defender use at that point, especially if they didn't bring a shotgun, and we saw Vayne take key advantage of that. Now Fluff, I feel like they could have gotten out of that round with a bit more guns. If you'll take a look, they had the behind the cover in storefront, they had a marker. They had a marker for somebody playing bathroom. They had a marker for somebody playing tellers. But nobody played in those positions. I really want to know why they deviated from the plan, because that kind of screwed them over until Vayne was able to clutch. Now, in that situation, Vayne definitely has the disadvantage. He has less health. There's less people on his team. It's a 1v2. But in the end, he pulled it out with a Gruber. A Gruber at a lane in the middle of storefront, a long-range lane. Getting those headshots is very difficult at that sort of range. especially with the clunkiness of that iron sight on the Gruber. Not to diss it or anything. But now on to Factory. The plan is very stretched out, it seems. It seems like DFC just wants to take one chunk of the map, possibly. They're calling Toxic useless, and so is Fluff. They just put a big X over that. Maybe that's a crossfire? We'll see.
Yeah, it does look like they want to maybe get a green door peek all the way on the fan, but I don't think DFC is going to really care about that too much.
Yeah, they've called Doc and Toxic both useless, but Storage, they have so many angles to cover. They have the double green door into Generator. They have the double green door into Toxic. They have the bridge on Toxic that they have to cover by Power. They have to cover Doc. They have to cover the office by Doc. There's just too much. And if they push Storage, it's basically a death wish, and they're just saving utility for the next rounds. We'll see them erase that useless there. Maybe they are going to go for a push like that, but the storage cover is just going to be too great for Fluff. It seems that the line of sight blockers in here, these big silos, are just going to really help Fluff. It seems like a defender-sided map, especially with that north corner. You'll see a huge line of sight for possibly a sniper onto the bomb. And I'm not sure if DFC knows how to counter that, because they're just going for these close-range engagements and Doc, Storage, and Toxic. It does look like, though, they are bringing a clacker and a door charge. That may go on Doc or Vent, but we'll see.
Yeah, I'm thinking their plan is just to go straight into Storage here, and that's exactly what they're doing. They're just going to go straight through Storage and Toxic. Sox trying to get that crossfire that they've marked here, but it's not really going to do anything. DFC just taking very, very quick control of Toxic, tossing a frag out to try to zone out any defenders that were in the area. Sox now sitting all the way back on Generator, trying to get some shots on the people on Toxic, but not going to really take anyone, but doing a lot of damage. Flares going out from the defenders. Now Billboard spraying into Storage. Youngster and Defects now trying to respond to Billboard here. Marbles getting a crossfire onto Defects, all the way from Generator. DFC is now getting pushed back a lot. Fluff is taking very, very quick map control here, just sticking to this north side and holding them back from these long, long angles. I mean, they're using this factory as a sniper range, honestly. Frosty just spraying into Storage once again. Marbles and Sox holding these long angles on Toxic. Svala does get the kill on Frosty in Office, and that might be the push that DFC needs, but Yangjo goes down to Sox. Youngster takes the trade here, and now Svala and Youngster are going to have to deal with this on very, very low health. Sva has almost 0 health, honestly. Billboard just holding off that Office extremely well. Marbles now moving up this catwalk. Youngster and Marbles not really seeing each other. Marbles does go down to Youngster, and now it's up to Billboard, who has a decent amount of health, does take out Sva. Billboard jumping straight out of Office to take out Youngster now. He does think he's going to be able to get this. He's going to peek this right here. Get a kill on Youngster, and there we go. Fluff taking another round. A very close round, actually, surprisingly. But
the only thing
does have the better defense.
The only thing I have to say there is, wow, what a power play. If Frosty was, say, in the south part of the Office, holding on to Storage, DFC's push would have been completely shut down. Maybe if he was just listening to Doc for those footsteps, he would have given so much more information to his team. But in the end, he just didn't want to risk that. He didn't want to risk it, or even a trade at best. So they just completely gave up Storage control, which was an easy kill box for, honestly, Fluff. Fluff could have just taken them out so easily. But in the end, because they didn't hold that, DFC ended up getting power. And then Fluff, they only had one flare. They used it on Storage. That area was already taken over. There's no point in doing that. Maybe if they put it around the doorway by Generator on that double door to Storage, that would have helped them. But we'll never see how that turns out until we get to the round, or the side flip, excuse me. But Killbox is back, and it is not looking clean, to say the least. There is going to be a lot of green doors that they could breach, but Fluff's attack, it may be good here. We'll find out.
Yeah, hopefully, maybe we'll see a wall charge be used here. We've only really seen wall charges be used on storefronts and C-stores in general at this point, because they're very, very strong. These maps have had a very clear advantage to the attackers with a wall charge on the C-store, but I am interested to see if an attacker team wants to take the risk and just go straight for the wall charge here. Although
I definitely feel that, because Fluff, when they were on defending side, they thought they could take advantage of the wall bangs. And it looks like now that they're on attacking side and they're taking a bit more time to get used to the map, they're actually planning to do that. Because office is definitely a very important choke point. Somebody could be in those small offices holding a shotgun or maybe a knack, and you can't do much about that besides hope and spray. There's not much to do there. It looks like a garage take may be the play here, but we'll find out, as the barbed wire is going to be very, very thinly spread on the side of DFC. It is going to seem to be a garage push here from Fluff.
Yeah, we're seeing SPA play very aggressively here on the garage, just getting ready for any attackers pushing in. And that's exactly what's happening here. SPA maybe get a pick down here, but nope, Billboard spots him and SPA instantly goes down. That's a very big disadvantage for DFC right off the bat. Youngster trying to spray through the door here, but not really going to catch anyone because everyone's going up north to focus on club and backstage. They're going straight for this button. We're seeing a very aggressive push here onto this club here. Defects and Yangzhou are the last ones here up at club. Shad actually joining in the fight here. Yangzhou does manage to pick off Billboard. Sox does take Yangzhou off though. And Shad, Youngster are the last ones on DFC to try to hold this. They're holding off the last that they can, but they're getting flashed right now. Shad just goes down. Youngster running into a wall, completely flashed. And Fluff just takes control of the round here, and they're going in for that defuse now in the vault.
Impressive plays from Fluff. What I saw them do is when they pushed in and somebody got lit up, they decided to push somebody else in front who had more health. So those low players were still useful for cleaning up kills and using their utility instead of just dropping it all on the ground. Now, it does seem like they're going to be going for loot here possibly, and that may be of advantage to them if they find something like a knack or a mop, but there was no mop in play this round. DFC decided to go for those close range weapons. They figured out that they need to play close range with close range weapons, but then they just held the north side of the map, which really didn't do anything for them. Even if they gave them the button, they had office, they had kitchen, they even had garage to play somewhat close range in with those shotguns. There was only one F1 in that round, and I'm pretty sure that was on Nunk. I'm not sure. I think it's on Nunk. But he rotated north in the map, and that would have been the best place for him if he was there from the start. So we are going to move on from Killbox now, and I'm pretty sure we're on to C-Store. It does look like that, and it is going to be that H shape. Now, we'll see if they take advantage of that H shape and the 3 lanes, or whatever could happen here. Fluff, now on the attack, with the utility, with the chance to push this, it does look like they are marking that storefront push, and it looks like DFC is planning to have a similar plan to Fluff on defense. It looks like Fluff is interested in taking power instead of doing it on factory, because those players on factory are much more effective for defender sides because of how much more open space there is and angles to hold. If you throw that down and then go sit on the other side of the map, there's not much you can do because you're already lit up. They can see you from across the map even without having a flare on themselves. But these lines of sight from Fluff are definitely going to be detrimental to DFC. We're going to see similar positioning, not similar barbed wires though. We might see a DFC player in tellers trying to call out when somebody pushes freezer, but it seems Fluff wants to go straight for shed. There may be a door charge on the southwest side here, if you look at that drawing on the map, and they are definitely worried about that cover in the northwest side, because DFC, they want to abuse that line of sight. They want to take it and take the entire site with just one person, which is a little bit outrageous, but with an angle like that and low cover that you can only crouch behind and you can still be wallbanged through, an interesting idea to say the least. We'll have to see if it works out, as there is going to be a breach on shed and storefront, it seems.
Yeah, Shad might be in for a world of trouble here once the charge goes off. There we go. Getting a little dazed, very flashed, but Youngster's trying to put some pressure on him to take their attention off of Shad, but not really going to do anything. Billboard gets the kill on Shed, but now the door charge is going off inside of storefront. Actually, it's a wall charge. They're just rushing straight into the storefront. A very common thread we've seen from all of these maps. Defects goes down to Frosty, and now the shutters are now going up. Marble's able to take longer angles here. Sva just spamming in the office at Frosty. Does take out Frosty eventually. Molotov going off, holding off the defenders from being able to do anything. Yangzhou trying to get some spray through the walls. Billboard trying to flank behind, but Yangzhou responds accordingly. And Sva and Yangzhou can't really do anything about this. I mean, they're trying to spray. He does actually get some shots off on Vayne and scares him a little bit off the bomb. But Yangzhou now has to reload, not able to do much, and Vayne finishes off the defuse with very little health, to be fair. Now Sox and Vayne moving in to clear off Yangzhou from his weapon. And there we go.
Yeah, that was very crazy. That was a very crazy angle that Yangzhou was holding. If you'll notice, they didn't try to just hold the entirety of storefront. They were really spread out. They just went for one spot to counter the bomb. They didn't put too much of an investment in, and if I feel like they invested a little bit more, they definitely could have been rewarded from it. We saw Marbles actually slow walking, using a wall charge and a drawer charge on that southwest portion of storefront, which just completely destroyed Defects. And Frosty even rotated back to help Marbles kill Defects. Like I said, that 2v1 advantage really just helps you push ahead in these rounds. When you're down a man and you don't have as much health as the attackers, there's not much you can do besides pray for those headshots, focus in on it. Now we are back to the factory map, DFC on the defense, and it looks like Fluff may want to go for a dock play. Now, offices is a little bit cramped, it looks like. There are going to be some good pieces of cover for DFC to use, and if DFC extends at the right time, they could definitely split Fluff in half if Fluff is mispositioned in storage and dock. Will that happen? I'm not so sure, because the guns the DFC has been taking haven't really been ideal for the situations. Now, maybe they realize this now, because Killbox, they were just in the wrong positions at the wrong times with the wrong guns. And that is something you don't want to see. But maybe they've picked up on it now. Maybe they're trying to analyze their own patterns and see what they can do to maybe even catch up or beat Fluff at this point, because Fluff is miles ahead. Like I said, they are going to be miles ahead of them at the beginning. They're pushing far, far ahead, and we'll see which team ends the marathon first. As DFC spawns in, there may not be much barbed besides on Toxic, and we are going to see some longer range guns, it looks like. One going to be holding on to Generator, two holding in Toxic, and on that southeast side, we have Shad on a barrel, it seems. He is going to be dropping another barbed wire, but I'm not sure if that's going to matter because it doesn't seem like Fluff is going for fan. Maybe, maybe not, but we'll see a similar storage take, I think.
Youngster instantly taking a shot off into storage, trying to hold off the defenders. Doesn't really get a shot off, and now the fan is going to get blown up. Marble's getting a kill on Shed. The only defender really in Toxic, Yangzhou, is out on Generator, trying to hold off Toxic, but the rest of the attackers are actually looking to maybe take Office, it seems, and Frosty, by his lonesome, trying to take the center of the map. A lot of shots being exchanged on the right side. It's very cramped on the right side here with all three defenders right here. And Youngster trying to get some shots off still. All the Fluff members are very low in health, so honestly, they only need to get a few shots off on these attackers to get a kill. Defects getting flanked by Vayne there and getting picked off. And now the Office is in the control of the attackers. And now it's up to the three on the right side of the map, Youngster, Yangzhou, and Sva. Youngster does go down to Sox, and now Vayne taking quick control of this bomb. Yangzhou trying to hold off the defuse at least a little bit, but it's not really enough. And now Sva is the last of his kind, trying to hold off. Billboard goes down to Sva. Sva gets flashed very hard, not being able to stop the defuse. And we'll see the round and the match go to Fluff.
Great for Fluff. We saw the same thing that they did on C-Store. They just kept having those low health players support the players who have health and can push in at the next time. 4 kills for Fluff before DFC even gets 1, and that's from Sva. A really, really struggling performance from DFC, and they put in all the effort they could get, but in the end, Fluff just had the strategy behind it. They had the statistics behind them. Even if DFC knew how Fluff played, it just seems they couldn't outplay them. All they could do was surprise them. And once you lose that element of surprise, there is nothing else you can do.
Yeah, we saw Fluff take very, very quick control of that area, and yeah, we saw defenders really couldn't do much from there, and they were stretched to the last of the few of them, and then they just got pushed out. I mean, we saw one defender trying to hold out the defuse, but he got flashed super, super hard, and he couldn't aim from there. And at that point, the round was lost.
Yeah, and when you keep having that strategy go in place, and you have those low health players just push back when the high health players kind of change positions with them, the firefights are not going to be won on the fight of DFC. It seems on the factory map specifically, neither team was confident enough to take that storage position. Even Fluff, they fell back on the offices. They didn't try to push storage and counter the push, because that aggression could have definitely helped either team, because both teams did the same plans with just small variations, and we didn't see much counterplay. We just saw holding angles, I feel like, unless it was on C-Store with the utility usage.
Yeah, and here to talk about this these plays specifically in the mindset of Fluff during these runs, we have Billboard here, ready for an interview. Billboard, how are you?
I'm quite well. How are you?
Yeah, we're doing great here. It's a very, very entertaining game you've put up for us here. I mean, we're having a lot of fun here looking at these angles being held and a lot of these shots going off between you two teams. How do you feel about your win here?
To be honest, expected. We knew coming in kind of how they play, and so we prepared our mindsets and our play style to kind of play around theirs and punish their play style. And it went perfectly, as you can saw by the scoreline.
Yeah, we noticed. Addax, do you have any questions specifically for Billboard?
Two really key points that I want to ask you about. First was the kill box layout. Were you guys confused at first about that power button in the middle? Were you confused about how you were holding that? Because I saw both teams just, they didn't really care about the north side of the map until later in the game. When we saw DFC try to take the north side, but that didn't work out because of the guns they had.
Honestly, that kill house is just, I really do think that's an attacker-sided map. I really feel like it's extremely hard to hold that on defense, because there's not a lot of funneling you can do, and even, or not even like a lot of crosses you can hold. I mean, you can commit to trying to hold the button, but I think there's just a lot of like snaking doorways and pathways on that map, and even like some corners. And because it is kill house, you can wallbang a ton. So yeah, we had trouble kind of figuring out exactly how we wanted to hold that. But we knew when we swapped sides, we knew we were going to take the attack, because we probably knew they were going to have the same amount of trouble as us.
I definitely understand that. My one other question was really your strategy. When you guys pushed in and you got a kill, I felt like you pulled those low health players back to support the higher health players to take those gunfights. Was that originally part of your plan, or was that just how your team sort of meshed together the rounds?
We didn't specifically point that out, or like we didn't like before the match say, you know, if you have low health, pull back. It's kind of just an instinctual thing. I think one thing from our players on our team is a lot of us have very good game sense, I think, and we can kind of play off each other very well. So we know, you know, if I get shot down to like 10 HP, I'm not going to be wanting to entry because I'm just going to be dying anyway. So I'd rather play a lot more passive angles and hold, and like maybe hold flanks or something like that. Something that's like a less important job, I guess.
Definitely makes sense.
Yeah.
And on top of that, I actually have one more question based off that. In the beginning, there wasn't much smokes going out. Like, there were flashes. We did see a Molotov actually cut off the rotates in kitchen on Killbox, but there really wasn't a lot of smokes or utility in the very beginning of the match. Did you guys think you could just out firepower the other team, or what was going on there?
To be honest, we don't. So our smoke usage is kind of selective, because at least right now, I think, you know, smokes it can be dangerous, especially against a team like DFC, where if you don't have like good smoke lineups where you like one-way smokes, or even like I guess where you can throw the smoke safely. DFC is a type of team that's going to be peeking everything, so we don't want to expose ourselves and lose and give them free damage on us. So we it kind of took us a little bit to figure out what might be some good smoke spots and to use in conjunction with our flashes. But I think we're one of the better utility usage teams, so I think once we saw that, it became pretty easy.
I'm just pointing that out, and I would definitely have to agree with the utility usage points. Is there anything else you want to add on to that, Spooky?
Well, if that's it, then yeah, I think we are done here. Thank you, Billboard, for your time, and thank you for the match. Looking forward to seeing you in the next few games.
Yeah, no problem. Happy to put on a good show, and I'm hoping we get to match up against Flatline next.
Yeah, I'll definitely be looking forward to that. And well, thank you all for tuning in to the match. Fluff does end up taking the victory here against DFC. We do have another match tomorrow, actually, between LCG and Sanctus Palma Granada at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. So if you want to join us for that, make sure to tune in during that time. And other than that, I believe we're done here. Yeah, thank you all for coming by. And thank you to Addax for the casting today. I've been Spooky. And thank you, and goodbye.